America and Israel need to understand that you can't bomb Iran's ideology away. You see, you can apply military pressure, you can remove their leaders, but there's a strategic problem with believing that military pressure alone will solve the conflict. You cannot bomb an ideology out of existence because ideologies are not built in buildings or infrastructure. No, they're built through political systems, national identity, institutions, and decades of conflict. And when military force hits those systems from the outside, it can actually strengthen them. You may have thought that you're weakening the system, all for you to actually strengthen it. Take take for example what has just happened with the Iran supreme leader. When an external when an external power removes a leader like that, the way in which they've done it, the political effect is not always collapse. They thought that okay, we remove this leader, then ultimately Iran's resistance is going to collapse. But the opposite has essentially now happened. The leader now becomes a symbol, he becomes a martyr, right? And once that happens, the conflict stops being about a government and starts becoming about national unity. People who may have disagreed with their government yesterday can suddenly feel like their country is under attack. And that's a major misunderstanding about Iran that I've seen that America, Israel, and most of the world are usually making. Iran is not a homogenous society. This is not a one size fits all. These are people with different beliefs, right? Yes, there have been protests. Yes, there have been people who oppose the system, but there are also millions who actually support it, who may disagree internally with with their government, but also reject outside powers from deciding Iran's future. I saw an article that Donald Trump wants to be part of choosing who's gonna be the next leader of Iran. Like there's some people that can be in disagreement with their government, but definitely not want their next leader to be chosen by an American president like Donald Trump. So when outside forces strike Iran, internal divisions can suddenly turn into national unity. What you may have thought that there's division within Iran, you actually now attacking them now ultimately now makes the country now a lot more unified. And you can actually see this logic in how the rest of the world is reacting. Many countries condemned Iran for striking US military bases around the Gulf states. But many of those same countries who had been struck, right, are also refusing to support a full-on military campaign against Iran. Because a lot of governments understand something very simple. Military escalation does not remove the political forces behind the conflict, which is why throughout history many countries eventually shift to a different strategy. That is containment. Not because the problem disappears, but because policymakers recognize a hard reality. Some political systems cannot be eliminated through force without creating even greater instability. So instead of trying to destroy the adversary states, at least try and maybe limit the states. Try and limit Iran. That would have been a lot more understandable from my point of view, right? Right, to contain its power, to stabilize the wider system, because now the Middle East is now chaotic. It's an absolute mess by that simple move of trying to now squash the Iranian government. Because wars can destroy armies. You can destroy armies, but they rarely can remove the political forces that created the conflict in the first place.